preparation of salts using word equations. Previously, we looked at the reactions of acids. We looked at the word equations which show how acids chemically react. For example, an acid and a metal will form a salt and hydrogen gas. An acid and a metal carbonate will form a salt, water, and carbon dioxide. And an acid and an alkali will form salt and water. You are aware of the acids and alkalis found in the laboratory, and these are the ones we will use to write these general word equations. What you will also learn is how to name the salts formed by these acids and alkalis, and metals and metal carbonates. And we are going to start with how we name salts. You can take this down in a note if it makes sense to you, right? Or you can just understand it from the table I'm going to go through. In naming of salts, a salt has, let's say, a first name and a surname. We're going to deal with the surname part of the salt. Now, this quote-unquote surname comes from or is derived from the acid, right? Remember we looked at reactions of acids. So an acid is one reactant, and from this acid we are able to derive the name of the salt, that is its quote-unquote surname. For example, if hydrochloric acid is the acid used, the salt formed is called a chloride, quote unquote, this is the surname. And an example of a salt formed using hydrochloric acid is sodium chloride. Other examples of salts that can be formed from hydrochloric acid are potassium chloride, magnesium chloride, zinc chloride, etc. So we are taking note that the surname of the salt is derived from the acid. You must learn the list of acids and the salt to be formed from that acid. This is the full table. I'll continue by talking about nitrous acid. The salt form here is a nitrite. You are to note this, but in looking at examples of reactions of acids, we won't look at nitrous acid. That's why I haven't given an example, but you are to take note of the type of salt it forms. With nitric acid, a nitrate salt is formed. An example would be potassium nitrate. Another example could be sodium nitrate. With sulfuric acid, a sulfate is formed. Phosphoric acid, a phosphate. Carbonic acid, a carbonate. And ethanoic acid, an ethanoate. You are to copy down this table and learn by heart the salt formed from the acid given. We are paying attention to the example to see how the salt is named. We'll look at more examples later on so as to clarify.